Welcome everybody to the 12th edition of Founder Talks. Tonight I'll be talking to two founders of internationally focused companies, both using artificial intelligence in their products and both based here in the north of the Netherlands. Don't worry, this is not a technical talk. We're not going to be going into the differences between artificial intelligence and machine learning and neural networks. This is really about the founder's journey. This is the first fully online version of Founder Talks we've done, obviously thanks to coronavirus for that. The good news is I don't have to explain to you where the emergency exits are, and hopefully your fridge is full of your favorite drink already. Couple of shout outs firstly to Noorderpoort and Het Kasteel for facilitating us physically in this space today. As you can see, we are up the right distances and everything has been fully corona proofed. You're using the technology watching this today via a company called Event Insight. They're also based here in Groningen. And that means there's some technology that you'll get to play with. Perhaps you have a question that you would like to ask either of these founders or me. Put it in the question box, and if other people see that question and upvote it enough, hopefully we've got the time to put the question to you, gentlemen. Later on, after we finish the conversations here, you'll also have the ability to do some networking. That's usually the best part of such an event, of course, and how do you do that on a social distance? Still being figured out, but I think Eventsite has got some interesting tech for you to play with, so more about that later. Gerrit, if it's okay with you, I'd like to start. So first we'll give you a nice warm welcome. Gerrit Baarda from ZiuZ Visual Intelligence, specialists in that kind of stuff, based in Gorredijk in Friesland.
Yes.
And if I read your website and our pre-conversation, focusing on industries in pharmaceutical, law enforcement and healthcare, not only software but hardware as well. I find that fascinating. I know how hard hardware really is. And I'd like to start, if I may, by going all the way back to the beginning. 2002. Literally, you began with your partner in a garage.
Yeah, that's correct.
What do you remember from those times?
There were good times. Before 2002, I worked for a consultancy firm. And to be honest, I got 3 kids. And I didn't know exactly how to explain them what I did on a daily basis.
As a consultant?
As a consultant.
I can understand that.
Yeah, advising banks how to transfer money a little cheaper.
I was going to say, I hope they would know how to transfer money being a bank, but okay, money
to
saving.
Do it in a cheaper way, yeah. No, but and I loved always my father-in-law, who was a carpenter. And when we were driving through the countryside, and he always could pinpoint me and say, "Hey, I've built this house, and I worked I worked over there and built that house," and I saw the twinkling in his eyes, and I thought, well, I want to start my own company, making something together with people I know, and making something where you can be proud of.
Yeah.
And of course there was some preparation, but there was a weekend we've made the decision split time, so we quit our jobs on Monday, and
that's quite a step.
Yeah, that was quite a step. Yeah. So and then it's of course you need some money to because you need some bread and butter. So I hired myself, and my companion hired himself also as a consultant. So we got some money for 2 or 3 days a week, and on the other half of the week we started our company. And it should be something about making something, and well, we thought, well, something with visual intelligence. This was the time before YouTube.
I was going to say, this is still 2012, right? So just after the dot-com crash?
Yeah.
And you chose to go into software?
Yeah, but I wanted to make something, but that's... So that was our start. We want to make something with visual intelligence, but we didn't know exactly what. So we were just starting exploring.
And how did you choose visual intelligence? What was the spark there?
Well, that was, at that time you still had Kodak with analog photo films. Yeah. And at that time there was a transition going on to digital photography. And we thought that, well, within 10 years, a lot of things would be digital. So we thought it was a good idea to focus on digital imaging.
And you told me that not long after you started, you had one particular company in mind as maybe the perfect client. and you started building for them, but it didn't quite go as you'd intended.
Help me.
Tell us
What
about
is
that. Was it Kruidvat? I think you
Yeah,
said?
yeah, I've been in a Kruidvat folder. Yeah.
That's a pharmacy kind of store here in the
Yeah,
Netherlands.
and at that time, in that time frame, you could bring your holiday photos to the Kruidvat, and then they were transporting them to an office here in Oldenburg, over the border in Germany, and there they were they were printed on paper, and you got them back I think 2 or 3 days later, and we were in contact with the University of Amsterdam. And they were specialized in visual indexing videos. So make a visual index of a videotape. But they didn't know what to do with it. And I thought, well, I have 3 children with a lot of VHS tape footage. So I thought, well, maybe I can use this technology to convert VHS tapes towards DVD, and then make.
Because, of course, DVD then was still new.
At that time, it was very new, brand new, and then make an index of what is happening on the DVD. And I sold it to Kruidvat. Yeah, at least I was going there very proud, and they said, "Well, we are outsourcing it." So I had to go to Germany. So that was my first customer was an international customer, and they were very happy because they were just in also in the same process that everything is going digital. Our normal business, analog photo film business, is going down, and we were there to help them with video.
So
footage.
the timing was right.
Yeah.
And if you
When you look back, then the timing was right. Yeah.
So when you look back, it was right, but then it was, would you say, lucky or?
It is that was just luck. But that we got this customer, it wasn't luck because we just called, This customer, and when you say, okay, I start my company, there's really nobody who's gonna call you. Well, you have a phone, but he's not ringing.
You had a technology that they didn't need. From
No.
their perspective at that moment, you were selling them something new.
They had no idea. They also had no idea that it was possible. So I think within 2 years, we became the biggest converter in Europe for 2 years in a row. We did about 20,000 DVD conversions per year.
Wow.
Yeah. And we got €1 per DVD. So 20,000.
Is that a lot? I mean, 20,000 euros per year doesn't sound like a lot to run a business. But
No, we had, but it was our first money from a customer. So we were really very, very happy with, and half of it we have to pay to the University of Amsterdam and to TNO. Because at that time the technology was coming from them. And so my companion and I had to split both €10,000.
Yeah, so that all of a sudden it starts disappearing quickly.
It disappears very quickly, but it helps,
And for folks here in the north that might have heard of you, because from my perspective, I've been here in Groningen for a long time, but ZiuZ has been a little bit under the radar. But I think most people focus on, if they've heard of you, know about the if I can call it image tracking. I'm not sure what the precise terminology you use is for the police projects that you do.
Yeah. This was our first, maybe let's call it business, but it was a first step as a company, and then the police was asking the University of Amsterdam, hey, we have child abuse cases with a lot of VHS tapes, and we have to go through all this.
Watch it all.
Yeah, we have to watch it all to look for
bad stuff.
Yeah, and whether there's maybe still an unknown child on the footage, and the University of Amsterdam said, well, we have this kind of technology, but I think you should call Gerrit and Ed.
Because of course they're the IP owners, but you're putting it out in the market. You're creating.
Yeah, we can make a product of it, and they had a technology, and when I heard that, the police called me, and I said, wow, this is it.
On the one hand, that sounds like a great client to have, and certainly for making the world better and safer. But on the other hand, this is maybe a touchy subject for some people. I mean, you've got technology that it's not for, well, it's for a very good purpose, but unfortunately there's a really bad thing happening in the world, and that is child abuse.
Yeah, and that's always happening. But for us it was a no-brainer. I didn't even make one business case. I just thought, well, this is something worthwhile to do. And we just started. with no business plan, no marketing plan, no whatever. We were just asking, hey, can we drop by as often as possible for a year? And in this year we will make it. And after this year we think it will be finished, and then it's up to you. So we didn't ask any money or upfront, we just started.
So that sounds very much like lean startup and maybe even agile working, but long before these.
I never heard those words at that time. No.
I mean, the lean startup wasn't even written back then.
No.
And agile working, I'm not sure when it became big, but it sounds like you were just doing it naturally.
Yeah. And of course we've made some mistakes, of course, but no,
you don't get away with that. What sort of mistakes were you making?
Well, you can listen to the customer and you can ask the customer, and maybe you consider him as a partner, but still you're not understanding everything. So maybe he's telling you about A and B, but he's not telling you about C.
Right. I think there's a famous Steve Jobs quote of the customer knows what they want, but they have no idea what they really need.
Yeah.
Because that's not their job.
No. So of course, and things which are very obvious for them, they're not telling because they're obvious for them.
But so completely unknowable for you.
Yeah. So when you start and then you have a prototype and you bring it to the customer, most of the times, the first time you immediately get it back. And then you have to change everything and then, have to re-enter. Yeah. That happened also with the police.
And so by this time you're a few years further with the business?
First in 2006 I hired my first employee. That was also a decision I have to make because up then we got the technology from the university and TNO, and when we made our own stuff around it and then sold it. As I told you, I wanted to have a company with my own people and make something myself together with colleagues. So in 2006, I decided I'm going to hire somebody with all the risk.
And how did that feel at that time?
Very scary. Yeah, very scary. Because you have to, in the end you have to, because when you're with two of you, then when there is not enough money in the company, then okay, this month no salary.
Which is okay when it's your salary.
Yeah, and then of course it's not okay, but it's you can explain and there's a story behind. But if you hire somebody, you just have to pay at the 25th of the month. You have to pay. You are
now responsible for their livelihood.
And of course, when you're a small company, you get people who are used to this kind of risk or challenge or whatever. But it felt like a risk. So I got my first. I got some investment money from. I got a loan from the NOM, the Noordelijke Ontwikkelingsmaatschappij. I don't know the English word.
Noordelijke Ontwikkelingsmaatschappij. Yep.
And they hired me €50,000, and I have to pay it back within the first year not, but then
second year or so.
Yeah. So I thought,
but it's another risk that you're taking.
Yeah, I thought at least I have about I can hire this guy for at least 1 year.
So if you don't pay yourself.
If I don't pay, but that are all the kind of questions you had at that moment.
Yeah.
So I wanted to pay him at least for 1 year, and then of course you're opportunistic, so you think you can manage and you sell your product.
Well, and it seems like it went okay.
So this police part is now working for 52 countries.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the Netherlands is one of those, so
really
course. Internationally focused.
Yeah.
And was that something you planned? Because I must say, having been here in the north for a while, one of the things that I see, I guess I should say this carefully, but a little bit lacking in ambition of certainly the starting entrepreneurs is this mentality of we'll start in the Netherlands, and when that's going good, we'll consider going abroad, by which time it's usually too late because that means undoing a substantial amount of your business. So was it a conscious decision to go international so soon, or did it just kind of happen in front of you?
No, I want to have impact. So that's why I started.
And you knew
that was a good product, and of course it helped. It is maybe a little strange to say, but child abuse is an international problem.
Yeah, it does not stop at the border by definition.
So we stuck into an international problem.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of police forces all around the world who have this problem. And everyone feels the same about it.
And did you have to do marketing and advertising, or did it all happen?
I have no marketeers. At that time.
Just a great product.
Yeah. And of course, now we have marketeers. So first you have technology and you're proud of it, but we definitely need marketing nowadays, because I cannot go to every country at the same time. So I have to pick my countries, which we go next. So.
Yeah. So let's jump a bit more to current time. So you're 2006 first employee.
Yeah.
How many do you have in the team now?
60.
60.
Yeah.
60.
60. Yes.
So that's quite a jump.
Yeah.
And if you talk about responsibility for people's livelihoods, that's significant.
Yeah.
But you do more than just the police business now, and
Yes.
you got into hardware. So what happened there?
Well, a friend of mine is playing volleyball, and he has a pharmacy, and he made a system. He bought a system to put medicines into pouches. But a lot of errors are made during this filling process.
So it's like, I need 10 of these into a pouch.
Or
very
4 or 5.
Work.
Yeah. No, but that's automated. There are systems putting automatically pills into pouches. And they told me that we think we make a lot of errors. So what we do, we check manually all the pouches. But they do about 100,000 pouches a day. So that's hard. I think it's unbelievable that you can do that manually.
And the errors.
And he told me that but you're doing a lot of with child abuse. At that time, VHS tapes, but of course it was DVDs, hard drives, mobile phones, and not only video but also images. So I was asking, hey, you make tools for analyzing a lot of images and video footage. Can you make a system to analyze my pouches?
So snapshot, pouch, what's in it? Does it tally?
And I thought, well, this is it. Because I want to make something, and the first was more or less software, and that could be a combination. And I've made the system.
And that's all your own.
Yeah, now we're
research and IP and.
Yeah, that's my own. We're market leader now, 40% market share in the world.
Cool.
Yeah.
That must feel good.
Yeah.
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 And with your I want to make an impact perspective behind that.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels good not just because you're making money, but because you're having an impact.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I can imagine too much of the wrong medicine or too little medicine or the wrong medicine. I mean, that has consequences.
Yeah. So from day one, we decided to make a product and to be open about what the risk is when you buy our product.
Yeah. And so the theme loosely for this edition is the artificial intelligence. So I can understand there is an image, or you take an image.
Yeah.
And then there's smart decisions of analyzing what's in that image, what's happening, and then some sort of decision that comes back that's a sort of yes or no, or maybe. Yeah. I guess can also happen.
Or doubt.
But this was long. I mean, AI is really hip now, right? Every man and their dog, maybe women and their dog as well, wants to talk about AI and machine learning. But this was long before that was popular, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, how did you get started with?
Normal pattern recognition, image processing, just the traditional technology, and of course, a lot of this technology is still in our products, and some parts are now being replaced by AI-based AI-based technology, but not all. Not all.
So let's come just a little bit closer to today, 2017. I noticed on your website that you actually stopped being the CEO of your company.
Yeah.
So you
one of the best decisions.
You birthed it from zero. You took these risks.
Yeah.
You had some luck. I think you made your own luck, but along the way, grew it to 60 people, and then said,
"Yeah, I like to make products. That's no other answer." And managing a company and going to more regions, improve the product to making it to the third generation. That's the other people are better, much more better than I am. Yeah. So I'm bringing onrust.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's not what you need because we need a streamlined organization with processes in place, and.
Very different to building from scratch.
Yeah, very important, but for me, very complex.
Yeah. So you chose to bring somebody else in?
Yeah.
So I assume that's going well.
Yeah.
How did that feel as a founder and the boss to then sort of not be the boss? I mean, you'll always be the founder, of course.
Yeah, but this was not a split-second decision, you know.
Right.
So maybe it took me 2 or 3 years.
Sleepless nights?
Yeah, of course. And also coming at home and then let's say at 5 and then being very tired.
So how does your day
And then-
look
and
now
then-
as the founder but not CEO? What happens when you wake up in the morning?
Now?
Yeah.
No, I start up at 7:15, and then first I go for a walk, and then nowadays with Corona times I do my first email checks, and then and then have some MS Teams calls, and then go to. Now what I've made a decision that I like to make new products, so that's my role in the company. That I'll try to make new products in a medical imaging area. And that's my responsibility.
Yeah, because you have the healthcare sector as well. So it's not the police stuff, it's not bills and the medicine stuff, but what sort of stuff can we think of where AI is useful in the healthcare sector?
For example, endoscopic programs, so colon cancer, when you have polyps. At this moment, the instruction is that get a polyp out and send them to a pathology. And we think that we can, based on AI, check during the endoscopic procedure, check whether the polyp is good or bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'll save a lot of people from unnecessary surgery.
No, not surgery, but at least it gets much cheaper, and there's no you get immediately feedback.
Yeah.
This is it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can see your eyes lighting up as you're talking.
Yeah.
Harder for the public to see, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And that's 100% AI.
And I was about to ask what's been hard for you, but I can imagine this is the hard stuff. Is figuring that out from.
Yeah, you want of course the hard stuff is contractual, legal. You have to get your hand on the data. So we work together with the AMC, University of Amsterdam, of a hospital, MCL, Medical Center Leeuwarden, but also with 10 other hospitals in the Netherlands. So that's a contractual part.
Yeah.
But I'm getting older, so. I start to like it. Yeah.
Now you know how the game works.
Yes, I know. And now we're going abroad to connect other hospitals to collect data.
Yeah. I see a question coming in from the public, from Erwin. He says, if a company has no experience with AI whatsoever, what would be a good first step? I realize it's a very broad question, but I can also imagine, there's.
I would say don't even start.
Don't start. Okay. Well, we're going to come back to you for more on that.
Personally, I see AI as a technology which can help you to solve a problem. So I think there must be something you want to solve, and maybe AI could be a solution for that. But ask people who are who know.
Yeah, and I noticed on your LinkedIn actually you do give lectures. At is it NHL in Leeuwarden?
Yeah, no, here in Groningen, University of Groningen. Yeah.
So you are available for people who want to ask questions, or you say ask people who know.
No, we are interested, and we always like to spread the word. I think that's important for entrepreneurs or technology owners to tell what is possible or not.
Yeah. Interesting question from my perspective. I'm curious about this. You have a statement, and you've made it quite clear that you're in this to make impact. You want to do good things. How do you, beyond just obviously the financial success of your company, how do you measure the success of the impact you're making?
That's I don't know. That's a running question. Do you have to say that? How many children did you save? Or how many pouches did you check? Or how many? But that's always the discussion. Make it visible.
Right.
And in the end, it's just we say we're in this pouch business, for example. We say first was the target 10 million pouches checking a day. Well, okay, that's what we do now. So what's then the next step?
Stick another zero on.
Yeah. But that's always the discussion. But it's an explicit discussion we have in our management team.
Yeah.
How can we address the impact? Yeah.
I think we got a photo that we either stole off the internet or maybe you sent it. This is you in, I think that's a skating outfit,
Yeah.
with your company logo and colors fully emblazoned.
Yeah.
I take from this that you're a sponsor of a skating team.
Yeah.
So
Marathon skating team.
Is that because you skate, or what's the story behind that?
Not so good as the professional skaters, of course, but I like the sport, and I like that make the translation between sport and running a company. And when you have when you're talking about marathon, well then everything is really focused. You have a match on Saturday evening, and you have to, in the preparation will start already in the summer. But how do you go? What is your aanvalsplan?
Yep. Plan.
What's your plan? Yeah. And first I thought the plan. Well, we have all good skaters. So first I thought, well, I believe in self-sturende teams and self-steering teams. And I thought that meant saying to the skaters, hey guys,
do whatever you like.
Good luck. You know what to do, and success. But I found out that well, if you want to win, you need something extra. And I'm in contact with a coach, Valentina, and she's an Italian woman, and she's been 21 times world champion and skier, inline skating. And she learned me that when you have a plan, then it makes it easier for the skaters, because they don't have to think about everything. And so we had a match, and she was preparing it very carefully, saying, okay, the round 10 we do this, and then this is happening, and around 20 we do this, and then that is happening, and we are reacting that way. And we won this match one round ahead of the others, and that hardly never happens within women's skating. And in that time frame, I also decided I want a strong management team. Yeah? So first
you took
I
the
thought,
perspective from skating and being a good team, and brought that then into your business.
yeah, but still, you when you have a strong management team, you still need strong skaters, because you can have a strong coach, but if the skaters cannot win, then you with a strong coach you're never gonna win.
Yeah.
So you need a strong management team, and you need strong employees. And that's what ice skating is bringing me, because I can explain it easily to my employees, and also bringing customers relations with me. And it's fun, and I think
Now, that if business isn't fun, then maybe we're doing the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
Last question: What's next? What's the next big thing for ZiuZ?
We're still working on the medical imaging, and I think the first big thing is that I want to make a new product to the market, and let's stick to that first, and then.
So what I'm hearing here is focus.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap this up for a moment, but you're going to hang here for a bit of a conversation in a moment. Thanks so much for enlightening us so far. Got to say thanks to Founding in Groningen and Stuk Fries Ondernemerschap, for putting this edition of Founder Talks together. And actually we have some news from our friends in Friesland, and that is, as of April the 1st, Erwin Damberg is the new member of the Stuk Fries Ondernemerschap team, based in Friesland, of course. He was an entrepreneur, he's been a product owner, a business developer in one of the fastest growing companies in Friesland. Makes me really curious to know which, but I didn't get time to research that. And he's now responsible for the business development side of the Friesian program. So he is now available along with Bertmin Kampman, who's been with SFO for quite some time, as the private-public lead duo in Friesland. So if you're a startup or small innovative company looking for help, or you want to get more connected to the Frisian startup ecosystem, then give Erwin a call.